Okay, hi CKM again. Welcome to part 8B of this video series, which is a tutorial for newbies. Now, this is coming after part 8, which I originally did about pressing someone's claim. Now, I did those tutorial videos donkeys years ago. However, I've had a few questions about pressing someone's claim, and I've had a quick look at this video 8 again, and I don't think it's entirely clear, or not very clear maybe. So I've decided to do a very quick recap of pressing someone's claim to give slightly clearer, or hopefully slightly clearer example of the things to be concerned about. So what I've done to that end is, this is a very brief interlude away from Ireland. This is actually picking up a saved game I had from Salerno. So if we pull back, we'll see, just to give you the update, I'm not going to give you all the history of the game. There is a let's play, or there's shed loads of them actually, but this is just an extract from that game that I'm going to show you how to press claims. So these are my territories here, Salerno, and then there's also this other place, Sicily here, which is made up of all those down there, and obviously being Paradox, they've colour coded it using virtually the same colour. I'm not sure they understand the concept of colour coding, but anyway, that's my land there. And then you've got Sicily's land there. So anyway, why am I banging on about that? Well, because what we're going to do is I'm going to show you an example of pressing someone's claim and how not to do it, and then how to do it. And to that end, I'm going to go through the mechanics of it, and then once we've done it one way, I'm going to reload the game back to this point and show you how it should be done. So what I'm looking at here is this county of Messina. Okay, Messina is part of, as you see, Sicily. It's not part of my duchy, Salerno. So we'll go to Messina. And we look at claimants, and we have a look, right, and as we can see, there is a claimant here, Roger, Marshal of Bosnia, who's got a thumbs up. He would accept an invitation to our court. So the first thing to remember, the only claims that you can press when it's someone else's, they have to be in your court, okay, so they have to come over. So the first thing you have to do is make sure they will come over, and you can tell here by their thumbs up or thumbs down. And if you go to him, it will say invite to court. And why is it a yes? It's because he doesn't like his Duke Adhemar at the moment. He likes us a little bit better, and Duke Adhemar won't press his claim. So anyway, we're just going to invite him to court, right, and we'll speed it up slightly, get him over here and now. So he's arrived. Therefore, what we're going to do is I'm just going to press his claim, okay, and I'm not going to fuck about. I'm just going to say, okay, this area here is owned by her, but she's not independent. It's owned, she's the vassal of her, so we have to declare war on her. So as you go, declare war on her. She happens to have Bosnia, I think, as well, so we can declare war on her, but we're going to claim Messina, which is down here, okay? So this is all very nice. So we just declare war. We couldn't do this before, we can only do this now because this bloke's in our court, he's our courtier, okay? So we're going to send it across, and we're now at war down here. Now I'm not going to show the war, I'm going to pause briefly and just fast forward the war, which we should win because she's in turmoil up here, and then once we get to the surrender, I'll come back in and we'll see what happens. Okay, so we're back. It would have been funny, this war, but let's not worry about any of that bullshit. As you can see, we've got the surrender. It's actually from the Queen of Sicily, a different Queen of Sicily, but anyway, don't worry about that. We're going to accept it. Okay, so let's have a quick butcher's look at what happens. We have paused. Now, as you see, there's the county, and this is my land here. My land. Get off my land. Sorry, don't know why I did that. Carried away. So anyway, here's Salerno, which is my land, and this is what we pressed. And as you see, here's our man, and he's independent. Now, he loves us. Opinion, pressed my claim, plus 100. Okay, yeah, he's independent, which is a pain in the arse, so we haven't gained anything. Now the only other way to get it is to say, well actually, given that you love me, how about you become my vassal? However, he, not unreasonably, is going to say no. One is because there's always going to be a base reluctance, you're not just willing to do that, but secondly, distant realm. You know, it's a long way away from where we are, so why would he want to become our vassal? You know, he's just going to say no. Now if he was up here, if it was that county there, then maybe he'd say yes, or at least we might be able to bribe him to say yes, but in this case, we've basically pressed the claim, invited him over, pressed his claim, and it's done us no good whatsoever, apart from we've got potentially, I suppose, an ally in this guy, although we haven't officially got him as an ally, because we'll have to then marry through, but he likes us, but that's of no use anyway. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate or show you what you should have done, or what I should have done. So I'm just going to pause the game and reload to where we were right at the start. Okay, so we're back to where we were before all of that happened. In other words, we haven't pressed the claim. This is still our land. This is all still Sicily. So what do you need to do here? Well, the first thing to remember is we went here to see if we could have a claim, and there was a claim, and it's this guy's claim, Roger Marshall of Bosnia. Let's have a look at him, right? So he's got two claims, but Messina and Bosnia, okay? The key thing to remember about this is he's not just going to give his claim up and give the land over to you just because you press it. Why would he? It's his claim, you don't have it, you need him. So if you just invite him over, supply him a load of troops, he'll love you forevermore, but he ain't going to give you the land. So what do you do? What you need to do is you need to basically make him your vassal up front. So what you do is you invite him over, as we had last time. So let's just invite him over, unpause it. And so basically what you need to do to get this guy, or to more importantly to make this part of your realm if you press the claim, is you need to make this guy at the moment, because if you look, he hasn't got any land. So what you do is you just grant him some land. So obviously you have to have some land to give away, so this doesn't always work if you're just starting off, okay? But if you're trying to just get more land within your realm, then this is one way to do it. And it doesn't have to be a county, it can be a barony or something. So let's go down here. This is all my land. Grant him a landed title. Let's give him a barony of whatever, Sorrento, that's in there, right? So we send him that. He looks like us, you know, he's quite happy, granted a barony. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do what we did last time, which is we go to Messina, we go to her, we then go up to the Queen, and we declare war, okay? And we have the same issue that we had before. It's still his claim. And we've invited him over, so we can now, and he's in our realm, so we can now push it. So what we're going to do again is we're going to declare war. I'll pause the game and come back when the war's over and see what happens. Okay, so we're back again. So the war has ended again, and we have the surrender terms. This time the original Queen of Sicily was still in power. That's why she looked different to the other one, but it's the same thing, Baron Roger, blah blah. So we accept, right? So Count Roger of Messina has usurped the title County of Messina, blah blah blah, and the war has ended, blah 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 blah. So let's just disband everything. So what happened last time, remember, it was independent, but now, lo and behold, it's part of our area, Salerno. Obviously, unfortunately, the greenness, as I've said, doesn't really help matters, but believe me, it's part of our area. And as you see, beforehand he was independent, now our liege is us with the gold headband. So therefore, the sort of moral of this story was we invited him over to press his claim, and because if we pressed it by just sending troops, he became independent and nothing happened. Instead, we had to give him some land. Now what actually happens here is he actually wins two ways here, because A, he got some land in there, and B, he also keeps this as well for himself and just becomes vassal. So he's actually ended up with 2 bits of land. No wonder he loves us to bits. So again, you might kind of go, well, this is a bit bollocks, isn't it? Why should I have even bothered? Well, firstly, you can, although you can try to revoke his title. You know, you could have a crack at doing that, provided you've got the right crown laws or whatever, but you might take hits and things from him, or from your other vassals. But the other thing as well to remember is that when you're trying to expand your territory, you don't always have to own every bit of land. In the early days you might, but if you look up here, this is my domain limit, 8 out of 9. Well, I couldn't really have taken that in anyway myself. I would have had to give away some land anyway. But what it does do is it counts as an owned county. So if I'm trying to become the king of all this area and I need to usurp the title, then remember, if you usurp the title, let's have a look, Queen of Sicily, to usurp that I need to have a certain number of counties, blah blah blah. Well, that would count even though I don't own it, because it's part of my realm. So that's why you're going to do it, even though you don't own it directly. By giving him land, he remains your vassal, and of course you'll get levies off that, and you're going to get loads of levies off him, because of course he thinks you're the mutt's nuts because you've pressed his claim. So he'll give you lots of levies once these numbers are dealt with. You can see there, actually, due to laws and opinion, we can raise 80% of his territory's levies. So there is a reason for doing it. So therefore, that's the thing about if you press someone's claim. However, there is another couple of other little things which we need to talk about to differentiate that, because it doesn't always happen. And so what I'm going to do is pause again and reload this game a few years beforehand and show you another scenario of pressing someone's claim. Okay, so we're back again with Salerno. we've actually gone back in time from the last example because I want to show you something else. So this county down here, Messina, if you remember, which we took over, is back in the hands of the Queen of Sicily. So we're not interested in that one though anymore. We're going over here, which is to this Duchy of Duchlila, whatever that is, however that's pronounced. And the thing I want to show you here is how you can press someone's claim, but the difference between someone being within your dynasty and not within your dynasty. So what do I mean by that? Let's go here anyway. This is called Ragusa. So let's have a quick look at the county of Ragusa, look at the claimants, and as you can see there's quite a few claimants. Okay, now there's some things to note here. Firstly, you see the little blood sign, that means they're of our dynasty, and that's quite important, right? Secondly, the thing to note is some of them have got little thumbs down and some of them haven't got anything. So what is the difference here? Well, the difference in this case as opposed to the last one is the first three are already in our realm, and you can see they're all in Salerno and we are playing Salerno. In other words, there's no opinion needed to invite them because they're already here, okay? Whereas these three are not. They're abroad. One's in Verona, one's in Georgia, one's in Padua. They're nothing to do with our current dynasty, our current Rome. So although they're members of our dynasty, they're saying they won't come over. So why does that matter? Well, what it means is these three are already in our realm, and therefore we should be able to press a claim so immediately, so we don't have to do any of this inviting bollocks because they're already here. So if you go over there and sure enough declare war, you have the three claims for these people here. So okay, so that's fascinating, right? That just backs up the fact that last time we had to invite a bloke over. In this case we don't have to invite these three over because they're already here. Two of them happen to be our kinswoman, and this one I have no idea actually how she's managed to come over unless I wonder why she's her father was actually our great-grandfather, but for some reason her mother, oh yeah, she was a bastard I think, possibly. So she's a child of one of our relatives, but she's not of our dynasty anymore. So therefore, why do we care about that? Well, it's because the mechanics of how you go about pressing that claim, or what you have to do to make sure it becomes part of your realm, are different, and the key issue here is dynasty members. So we know we can't invite anyone over because, as we've seen, the claimants who aren't there at the moment, these three, won't come. They've got thumbs down. However, we know that we do already have claimants in our county, or sorry, in our realm, so therefore we can press the claims there. So therefore, which claim do you want to press? Well, let's again do what we did last time, and I'm going to load up two different scenarios, okay? So let us do declare war, and we'll take the first one, okay? Remember, she's not of our dynasty, but we're just going to claim Ragusa for her, okay? So we send it out, and what I'm going to do now again is I'll pause the video and then I'll show the results, so bear with me. Okay, so we won the war, and then we have the usual decline and accept. So we accept it here, okay, blah blah blah, and what has happened here is that is the claim that was given, okay, and you can see she pressed out claim, but she doesn't like us as much. But as you can see again, she's completely independent. It's exactly the same situation that we had before with our Roger bloke originally. We didn't give her any land. She's not of our dynasty. We are di Salerno, okay. She wasn't di Salerno, she was actually I think she was a bastard child actually. There she is, she's a bastard child, which means she took her mother's side of the dynasty. So we just pressed the claim as normal like we did initially with Roger. We didn't give her any land, and lo and behold she's become independent. So therefore that's a complete feck up, okay. But what I want to do now is I don't want to do what I did last time, which is show you that we know that if I'd actually given her land to start with, well, that would now be part of our realm, okay, because she would be our vassal. However, what I now want to do is show you what we would have done if we'd picked one of the other two to claim it for, so bear with me while I reload. Okay, so we're back to where we were before. We haven't pressed this claim, we declare war. Now this was the claim we pressed last time, but remember we have two other claims, and what's the difference between these two? Well, these two, let's just show you here, she was this von Lusania, not of our dynasty. However, this one here, she is di Salerno. We are di Salerno, so she's of our dynasty, right? So what's the big friggin' deal here? Well, I'm going to declare war, and I'm going to press the claim, but this time I'm going to press her claim. She's our member of our dynasty, so the same thing will happen. Same thing will happen if I actually do it right. We'll press her claim, we'll send it all, we'll do the whole raising of troops, press the war, and I'll pause, and then we'll come back when the war's done and see what effect that has. Okay, so we're back to where we were again. The war's been won, slightly different screen, but enforced demands, yes. So we go send, he's thinking about it for a minute, we'll speed it up. So anyway, the war's been won, and the countess, this was the claim we pressed, but she's of our dynasty, has taken, as you cite the title, whatever, right? But now look at the difference between this and what happened last time. It's gone green, the same putrid, snotty green as we are, and it is part of Salerno. Those troops will get out of the way, they are. So why, whereas last time it remained independent. Again, why is that? Well, because we pressed the claim of someone of our dynasty. So whereas the first time we pressed the claim, she wasn't of our dynasty, she therefore became independent. We hadn't given her any land. This time we don't have to give any land when we press the claim of this woman, because she is of our dynasty. She therefore has no problems, given that we pressed her claim. She's got no problems swearing fealty to us as her liege. So therefore there's a difference. So to summarise again, when you press claims, if you can press someone's claim who's a member of your dynasty, you don't have to give them any land. They will become your vassal. If you press someone's claim who isn't of your dynasty, well then you're going to have to somehow make them your vassal beforehand, and that's usually by granting them land. So that's kind of why I wanted to show those two differences, and why pressing claims, I often see comments of people, and it used to confuse me as well, they say they press someone's claim and they then became independent. Well, you just got to think about, well, what is their motivation for not being independent? And their motivation for not being independent is either they are already your vassal because you give them some land, or they're a member of your dynasty because you because that's what they are, and therefore they don't mind becoming your vassal. Remember also that if you want to press claims, you are only pressing their claim. They get the county. In both cases, that one and in the previous example, we didn't get the county, the other person got the county. But of course you can then attempt, if you have the right crown laws and things, to revoke. And as you can see here, I'll show you this one here. Say we wanted that county ourselves. You can see revoke here. She will. She's reluctant, but she'll do it. So she will actually revoke that county to you now. You will actually get a hit of -20 from your other vassals because you're revoking the county. But by pressing her claim, she's become your vassal, and then she's allowing you, in this case, to revoke the title. But remember down there, he wouldn't, because that was too far away. So it's not a given. But she does kind of like you a lot because you've pressed her claim, so she might do that, but just bear in mind you're going to take hits there. Okay, so that's one of the differences. Then the last thing I wanted to say is, well, just to tie this all in with de jureness as well, let's have a quick look, seeing as we're here, is this county here, if we click on the de jure duchies, they are the same light shit colour, okay? And that's because both of them are part of this duchy of Duke, okay? Now the current duke is him. If I want to declare war, I can't declare war on him because you can see I don't have a casus belli to declare war. The reason I don't have a casus belli is because he's only got Zeta. If I go to Zeta and look for claimants, well, none of them want to come over to me, okay? And none of them are of my dynasty. But remember, if we own half of the de jure counties, we can actually usurp the title and then use the de jure rules. So in this case what we would do is we would say, well, there's the duchy there, I want to usurp it, I've got 1 out of 2, so I'm going to usurp it. It costs me money and it costs me gold. We do that, okay, suddenly you get this de jure claim. Now what we've done is we're now the duke of these 2 counties, and because we're the duke we can press a claim. So you go back to this bloke, declare war, we now have a de jure claim. Remember, when you do this, if you press that claim, then you'll go to war against him. In this case, it wouldn't be good because we'd take a bit of an opinion hit because he's the guy we actually beat when we did this claim. So we've got a truce with him. But if that truce was over, we could, or even if it wasn't, if we just decided sod it, we'll take the opinion hit, which I wouldn't recommend. You then take over. You then have the usual fight, and when he gives in, assuming you win, he'll keep Zeta, but he'll become your vassal. and therefore you'll have both of those will turn green. So that's kind of how it all interlinks. If you're looking to spread, you want to use claims, ideally for dynasties. If not, you want to use claims of independent people and give them some land to make them vassals. Once you've done that, you then start to look at the de jure-ness. Now it could be that, in this case it was easy, there's only 2 counties in the de jure duchy, then you only need half to become the duke. If there was, say the whole duchy was made up of these 4 here, well then it would be a bit difficult, because having 1 won't allow you to make the dukedom title, because you can't usurp it, so you'd have to try and get another one somehow, but that's for other tutorials. I think I've banged on enough. I don't know if that's helped at all, if that's improved it, but I wanted to just show a video which gives you the differences between just seeing the sort of declare war and press a claim and then wondering what happened at the end. It's the extra things to look out for before you just press the claim, prosecute the war, and then go, oh fuck, why isn't that mine? So hopefully that might have helped, but if not, I'm sorry. Cheers then.